Over the past few years, the proportion of children living in poverty in Wolverhampton has risen by approximately 5 percentage points. This means thousands more children have been pulled into poverty during this time. The trend shows that national economic shocks have had a particularly severe and lasting impact on the city's most vulnerable households. Poverty levels, which were already high, have worsened due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic and the subsequent cost of living crisis. Wolverhampton's own data highlights the disparities more directly by mentioning employment gaps, pay disparities, and deprivation. Having stated that there are significant employment gaps between ethnic groups, in 2021, the employment rate for the white population was much higher than for the black and minority ethnic BAME population, a notable ethnicity pay gap with the median hourly wage for white British employees at £13 29p compared to £11 for Pakistani and those from other black backgrounds, and areas with higher ethnic minority populations in Wolverhampton often coincide with higher income deprivation. In the UK, household income is typically defined as the amount remaining after taxes and benefits are accounted for, and then adjusted for the number of people in the household. The groups are often defined relative to the national median income. Low income households earn less than 60% of the national median income and is the official poverty line. Around 40 to 50% of the population lives in relative poverty, which is substantially higher than the national average. This aligns with the city's high child poverty rate of 38%. Medium income households earn between 60% and 150% of the median income and represent the broad middle, comprising around 45 to 50% of the population. High income households earn above 150% of the median income and are around 5 to 10% of the population. The proportion of high earning households in Wolverhampton is smaller than the national average, reflecting fewer high paying professional and managerial jobs within the city itself. The median gross household income in Wolverhampton is approximately £29,500 per year. In brief, the average person in poverty has an income that is 28% below the poverty line, while over 82% of children in poverty in Wolverhampton live in households where no one is working. If the average weekly spend is around £600, then around 18% is spent on meat and fish, 16% on fruit and vegetables, 12% on bread and cereals, and 11% on milk, cheese, and eggs. However, as almost 40% of the population is at the bottom of the low income category, their spend would be far below the average stated. The other category of expenditure is a large basket that includes oils and fats, sugars, jam, honey, chocolates, and confectionery, and food products not classified elsewhere, like ready made meals, sauces, snacks, baby food, etc. The ethnicity pay gap in Wolverhampton. Wolverhampton provides a more detailed breakdown of its own ethnicity pay gap, which reveals significant income disparities. The data shows that employees of Indian heritage in Wolverhampton earned, on average, slightly more per hour than their white British colleagues. However, all other listed ethnic minority groups earned less. The most significant gap was for employees of other black and Pakistani backgrounds who earned over £2 less per hour. The white British medium hourly pay was around £13 29p in 2021. The pay disparity compared to the white British employees in 2019 were that Pakistanis earned 16% less, Bangladeshis 15% less, Black African, Caribbean, and Black British earned 8% less, mixed multiple ethnic groups earned 6% less, Indians earned 1.2% less, while Chinese was the only group that earned 1% more. The total revenue budget for the City of Wolverhampton Council for 24-25 financial year was £342.3 million. The two largest areas of spending are adult social care and children's services. Together, they accounted for over 232 million, or roughly 68% of the total budget. This is due to the Council's legal duty to provide these services to vulnerable residents, combined with rapidly rising demand and costs. The immense pressure to fund social care means a smaller portion of the budget is available for discretionary services. The Place Directorate, which covers essential public services like waste collection, road maintenance, parks, and regeneration, operates on a significantly smaller budget than the Social Care Directorate. The upward trend. While precise annual figures can vary slightly depending on the data source, the overall trajectory is clear. The primary metric used as the percentage of children living in relative poverty in households with less than 60% of the median income after housing costs. We find in 2019 to 2020, just before the pandemic, the child poverty rate in Wolverhampton was already high, estimated at around 33%. In 21-22, following the pandemic, this figure saw a sharp increase, rising to approximately 36%. The removal of the £20 universal credit uplift had a notable impact during this period. And in 23-24, the most recent estimates place the figure just below 40% or even slightly higher in some city wards. The continued increase reflects the severe impact of high inflation on food, energy, and housing costs for low income families.